So I saw the Sonic movie. And as you can tell from my face, I'm just joking. The movie was actually really good. I'm gonna lay that out there right now, that if you haven't seen the movie, go see it. I'm gonna lay it out for you that the movie was actually 100% worth seeing in the theaters. Normally this isn't a movie I would have seen if I didn't have a kid in theaters anyway. But I have a 10-year-old and the movie was out, so yeah, I went and took her to see it. And it actually blew me away as far as how the movie was presented. The movie's story was good. The movie's comedy was good. The movie's throwback and nod to the kids who grew up in that time, me and all the rest of us that grew up in the 80s and 90s with Sonic. Huge nods to all of us throughout the film. And this goes without saying. I think we all commend the producers and everyone that reworked on this film after the atrociously bad studio choice for the first Sonic. And if you don't remember what that looks like, here's a clip of it right here. Thank God we didn't get that version. Now, I want to go on record to say that I can say without a doubt that this movie was actually good. It was good. It wasn't because, at first I was thinking this in the theater in my head. Am I thinking this movie's good because it's a nostalgic trip, or I just had really, 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 really low, like bottom of the barrel, low as you can go, expectations for this film? And at the beginning, yeah, I did, because I wasn't even planning on seeing the film. But I'm so happy now that I did. The fact that they respected the license, and for a movie that takes place in the video game world of Sonic for maybe 3 minutes at the most, the rest of it takes place on Earth, I will say that this movie respected Sonic as much as it possibly could. It respected us, the fans of the video games, as much as it possibly could for a Sonic film. And it sets it up, and this is not a spoiler, I don't think, but at the end of the film, it does set it up for a sequel that is going to take place, most likely, in Sonic's world altogether. That's what I'm hoping, especially, because this movie, I walked out feeling extremely happy. My kid walked out feeling extremely happy. It was a good film. Now, the best way to describe it is Sonic leaves his homeland for reasons unknown. I'm not going to say why, I don't want to spoil it. Comes to Earth and lives alone for years. Does something that brings attention to himself and Dr. Robotnik, setting up the backstory for Dr. Robotnik in a comedic, smart way that seems like, believable for a video game character movie. It's something that I'd be like, okay, I buy this. I can go along with this. I agree with this. I like this. It made me laugh. And Jim Carrey plays the perfect Dr. Robotnik. This Jim Carrey character of Robotnik reminds me so much of the Jim Carrey that I loved from the 90s. The Cable Guy Jim Carrey, the Ace Ventura Jim Carrey, the Dumb and Dumber Jim Carrey. This is the Jim Carrey, the Mask Jim Carrey. This is the Jim Carrey that I remember as a kid. This is the Jim Carrey that I know and love. And he is by far, except for Sonic, which the way it should be, Sonic and Dr. Robotnik, they steal the show. They really do. I know it sounds weird because it's a movie that you would think is made for kids and is going to be dumbed down because a lot of movie studios and stuff now and kids TV is dumbed down. They think kids are dumb and They play it like a lowest common denominator. They play it safe. They think things are too, they go way too PC when it comes to the movies. That makes them unenjoyable for adults. You're sitting there feeling like you've been lobotomized as you're watching a film. But Sonic didn't feel that way. It literally felt like I took a trip back into the 90s. I was watching 90s comedy at this point for kids and adults. There was stuff thrown in the movie that's going to be over kids' heads. There's stuff that's thrown in the movie that literally tips their hat and nods to those kids that grew up in the 90s for these games and the commercials, and takes a little dig at Nintendo and Mario. And I can't express it enough that this movie was so good enough for me to praise, thinking that I was just gonna walk out of it and probably gonna just shit all over it because I hated it, which I didn't. There's not one point of the movie where I thought, this is stupid, this is too dumb for me to enjoy, I'm watching, you know, something made for drooling, just dumb people, and it wasn't that. And I was pleasantly surprised. I would say go see this movie in the theaters if you possibly can. The ending was great. It was the great cliffhanger that sets it up perfectly for the next movie. And it just leaves it open for speculation of what I hope to see for the next movie. Go see this today. Go see this tomorrow. Go see it while it's in theaters. The only person that I could see playing this role of Robotnik the same, just as good, or a little bit better would have been Robin Williams. Honestly. They were both would have been perfect for the role. But because Robin Williams is gone, Jim Carrey sold this character. He was great. And especially at the end, he played Robotnik perfectly. Sonic was perfectly played. He was perfectly voiced. He acted like how I would have expected 90s Sonic to act in every regard. And I thought the movie, when I was going in, and when I first initially saw the trailers, I thought the movie was gonna be just filled with dumb jokes that like I would expect to see from some modern Nickelodeon SpongeBob movie that just seems like to be on a never-ending loop. Like the Goosebump movies, those were bad to me. Those were not funny. Just because someone farted in a movie doesn't make it funny to me. And I honestly thought that's what I was going to be walking into. And I take everything bad that I said about the movie back when I saw the trailers. It actually really shocked me how good the movie was. I will buy this movie, which is shocking to say the least. When I was driving home, I'm like, I really want to go play a Sonic game now. I'm really happy that I have the Sonic Mania collection and all these old Sega games that I can go back and play at any time. It really brought even more the nostalgia out of me of remembering my fond times with Sega and my fond times playing Sonic games. Sonic Chaos on the Game Gear being my favorite Sonic game of all time. A very underrated Sonic game that I don't hear very many people talk about when it comes to Sonic games in general. They don't talk about the Game Gear games that came out that were extremely well done. Sonic and Knuckles being my second favorite, and then my third favorite being Sonic 3. It was a really good film. I cannot wait to see what they're going to do with the second one. I hope they don't fuck it up. I really, really hope that they don't, corporate grimy little greedy hands get a hold of it and fuck it up. I really hope that. If you can, go see it today. Take your kids, take your girlfriend, take your wife, take your boyfriend, take whoever. It's a good movie. If you grew up especially in this time, they nod and wink at us the entire movie. Just with stuff they say about the games, stuff they say about characters' names that have changed throughout the years, that are just like, oh, you got me. And then the ending was just like the perfect wrap-up for the entire film. So, glowing review from me. Someone that thought the movie was going to be piss-poor garbage. it wasn't. And I ate my words when I first saw the trailer. I don't know how many months ago that was, with a horrific looking Sonic. And, you know, good on the movie company for changing Sonic's appearance to look like Sonic that we all know and love. But it's still, I was just like, well, it's gonna be a dumb kids movie. What am I expecting out of this? Really nothing. But I walked away feeling happy. I laughed a bunch of times during the movie, and you know, with all the times that they winked at me as a kid that grew up with Sonic, it made me extremely happy, and all that warm feeling, fuzziness that nostalgia makes you feel. So if you want to take a trip down memory lane, if you're not well engulfed with all this kind of stuff, and you want to feel a little bit for Sega and Sonic again, go see this movie. And if you've never seen Sonic or played Sonic or know anything about Sonic, go see the movie. It was a good, funny, comedy, fun film. I'll say that. And I hope you guys enjoyed this review. It's nice to be able to go to the movie theater and not feel this like seething anger that I felt so many times over in the movie theater in the last 5 years. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this. Make sure to hit the like button if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you on the next video. Later. Go see Sonic.